Hello guys, very good morning to this video. Very hope to see you all again back for the channel. Okay, so here today in this video what we're going to see is about the Linux installation. So Linux installation over the VirtualBox. Okay, so before that we need our system to be installed with the VirtualBox. So before we go to this hands-on session, we need two things to be with us. So one is the VirtualBox installation software and the operating system, the Ubuntu, which I have taken here, the ISO image of the Ubuntu. Let's get started. With the downloaded installer software, we just double click it. That installer will open you a pop-up window like this. You please click install. So with this we start our VirtualBox installation, and please give your admin password if you have any. It will keep installing. Yes, let's wait for a while. So as I told you already, so VirtualBox is a software within a software. It's a VMware. It is otherwise we technically call as an hypervisor. So with this hypervisor we can install any operating system over it. Okay, so now we have completed the installation. We are just deleting that exe file, the installer. I'm going to teach you how to install the Linux here over a virtual machine. So hope everyone know what is virtual machine. So if you don't have any idea about that virtual machine, let me have a clarity towards that virtual machine in short. Okay, so what is that virtual machine? To make it simple, in olden days, if we want to have the two different operating systems, say like I'm using Microsoft Windows in my laptop, I want a Linux system, any distribution of that Linux, say Ubuntu, Fedora, Mint, CentOS, anything. Yes. So that case, in olden days, what we have to do is we physically partition our drive, the hard drive in the laptop with the available space into two different partitions. So one partition it's completely installed with Windows and another one with Linux. So the boot operations are simply different. Okay, when you switch on and restart your laptop, and automatically it will ask for you to choose which operating system. Okay, it will be listed. First it will be listing which one has given as the first boot option. That operating system will be mentioning at the first and the second followingly. And this is how you can choose any one of the operating system and keep booting. Alright, fine. I don't want this thing to happen. Yeah. So in order to avoid this problem, what we can have is we can have an operating system within another operating system, and that can be facilitated with the help of the virtual machines or virtual machine softwares. And one software is what we are going to see today is VirtualBox from Oracle. Likewise, we can have the VMware also, but I have chosen the VirtualBox for our consideration. Okay, yes, fine. So this is the VirtualBox we can have for the demonstration to install the Linux operating system. Right, fine. So this is the VirtualBox Manager, which manages the everything in related with the virtual machine. Right. So with this new button click, I'm going to click new button because we are going to install a new operating system. Okay, in this VirtualBox. Okay, fine. So click new, and automatically excuse me, it will ask for the name. Okay, you can give the operating system name. I'm going to install the Ubuntu 6.1 version. Okay, fine. And the type, so what type of operating system I'm going to install? Okay, so if it is Solaris, if it is BSD, IBM, Mac OS, likely you can have anything else, any operating system you please choose, because for this case we are going to install the Linux. So choose Linux and the machine folder. So where do we have? So this is the location where I am going to have my VirtualBox. If you want to change, you can keep changing. Okay, and for a disclaimer here, I am just working with this Mac OS. Maybe some slight changes may be varied for the different operating system, and every terminology that we see here towards installation is very common. Okay, fine. And type of Linux and version, so mostly everyone will be using the 64-bit processor. Okay, so depending if you are using a 32-bit software and it is not possible for us to install a 32-bit software in a 64-bit architecture. Your hardware supports should support a 64-bit. So here my hardware supports 64-bit and I go with the Linux 64-bit. Okay, then click continue. And here we have to define the RAM. Okay, so minimum we should have 2 MB of RAM. Okay, 2048. I go with the 2048 of RAM. Alright, so minimum we should have this space and click continue. And here we are left with two choices: do not add a virtual hard disk and create a virtual hard disk now and using an existing virtual hard disk file. Okay, if we have the hard disk file already created, we can go with the third option. Okay, and if I don't have any space, yes, do not add a virtual hard disk. So what I can do is, if I choose the first option, I can have the hard disk from either way, maybe through kind of a pen drive or anything, any other sources we can have it. So we don't have any other sources, so we go with create a virtual hard disk now, and by default it will score your 10 GB of your portion of your data, of your hard disk space will be taken. Okay, so that's what I'm going to create now. Yes, so creating, and here we have the disk file types. So what type of disk file we are going to use here? So VDI, it's a virtual box disk image. So I'm creating it. Okay, so I don't have any other previous installations. In such cases, if I have created the virtual hard disk or virtual machine images, anything, so I can reuse it. Okay, so and here with that virtual hard disk, so what I'm doing is, what's the difference between that VDI and VHD? Here is VHD, it will clone your entire hard disk to the virtual machine which you are creating, which you are going to create. Say like in my entire laptop, if I have the 20 GB of resources stored, and all those 20 GB of data will be cloned to your virtual machine, and that is what we call as the virtual hard disk. Your entire hard disk can be accessible to that virtual machine. You are creating a virtual disk, that is what we call as VHD. And the virtual machine disk, so what I'm doing is I'm creating a virtual machine disk, the disk which is mapped with that virtual machine which I already have. Yes, if I have a previously installed virtual machine, and that disk can also be used here. I don't have any options for this time, so I will go with the VDI. For a naive installers, you can choose VDI, the virtual disk image. Okay, and move on to that. And here either you can go with the dynamically allocated size, the hard disk storage, or the fixed size. So normally you can go with the dynamically fixed one. Okay, the dynamically allocated. Okay, yeah, so let's go with that. And minimum 10 GB is needed, and that is what I have provided already. So I'm just clicking to create. So everything has been detected. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to start. Look here. Okay, see, the problem which we have here is this system cannot identify the ISO file of the Linux operating system which you have chosen. So what we can do here is, it was empty previously. Okay, so I have missed out in that. So what we can do is, you can click choose. Yes, automatically it will keep opening. If you don't have anything, you can add add your disk image to the ISO file. Okay, yes. So now I'm going to start. So this, now it will keep installing my Ubuntu operating system over the VirtualBox, and this is how it will keep rolling with that. Let's wait, it will take some time. Yeah, let's see. It has started its booting, and this is what we call as a boot process. For every operating system, we need a bootloader. So what the purpose of that bootloader is, it is making the necessary communication. As an operating system, it is making the necessary communication with the hardware available, and that hardware should also be compatible with this operating system, and that compatibilities will be handled by the bootloader. Okay, only if there is compatible, if there is any compatibility with that hardware, possibly your operating system will install. Otherwise, it will not proceed. So, what is that bootloader will do is it will keep loading your operating system to the hardware that we have defined for. Okay, so now everyone could see. Yes. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to install this Ubuntu. Okay, fine. So click it. It has checked the compatibility issues and everything is done now, and we are going to install this now. Install Ubuntu on the virtual machine. Normal installation is okay now. Okay, you can click or web browser and basic utilities. Okay, you can go with the normal utilization. Normal installation. Even in such cases, this for this choice, I have taken the normal installation. In the sense, the web browser utilities and office software, games and media players, everything can be played like an regular operating system. Okay, which if that is not necessary, I have given it. But if you don't want those things to happen with the Linux operating system for here, for this installation, you can go with the minimal installation. I prefer to go minimal installation because this is our secondary operating system. This is not our primary operating system. Okay, fine. So erase disk and install Ubuntu. Yeah, you can install now. You can provide install now. Please don't panic. It will not make any modifications. It will not erase anything, any data from your hard disk. Okay, you can just click install now. Yes, of course, write changes to the disks. If you continue changes, of course. Okay, and here we go, and everything it will keep starting from the location that has been enabled in your device. It will start ticking. The Kolkata is there, the normal time, so you need not to change anything, and you can type your name. So I type Fars. So I'm just creating this Virtualbox for the course, the Fars, the free open source software, and you can have your passwords. Okay, anything as you wish like. It takes some time. Let's wait. So now the installation is complete. We have to restart the computer. Okay, you click restart. So now the Ubuntu OS has started booting, started loading. Look here. So this is your VirtualBox Manager, which will keep explaining you about the operating system, all the details of the operating system. So now here in this window, the operating system has started running, and here, look here, it started running. So the base memory is 2 MB. The floppy disk, we don't have anything here. So the video graphics details and everything will be given here. Yes. So this is the name of the operating system which we have chosen. Okay. Once you click, it will get into your system, and the password. So what password we have given at the time of installation, and that should be given in order to load the operating system, to run the operating system. Okay, and now you see your operating system has started loading. So it is asking for your online accounts. If you have any, if you want anything to be linked, then you can. Otherwise, you can skip this process. Live patch, it is not necessary. And next. Okay, fine, we are done now. Everything is ready. So these are all the basic softwares which has been installed as a native app along with the Ubuntu operating system. Because we have chosen the normal installation. If we have chosen the minimal installation, we may not have all these things to be installed. Okay, fine. So just click done. Your operating system is here. You can see your operating system. Yes, fine. So this is how you can keep installing any operating system over the virtual machine. Either it can be VirtualBox or VMware. So here for this case, for our installation, I have taken the VirtualBox. Okay. So hope everyone will be very clear with the installation steps. See you. Bye.